All right. Good morning, guys. It is Ben at 10. I'm meteorologist Ben Peine here in the Extol Media Studios in Uptown New Albany on our first winter weather advisory day today. And in fact, as we take a look outside right now, we can see the flurries flying out there. And there might be enough to get, kind of a dusting on the grass or the deck or the handrails. I think the roads are primarily just going to be damp. Now, if we get a few snow bursts, what we call snow squalls, they're kind of spotty. They can put down some heavier snowfall rates on occasion, and that might give us some slick spots to watch out for. So winter weather advisory is typically less than 3 inches locally here with our National Weather Service, but we're just talking inch or less accumulation, and I would emphasize less in most areas for today. Got a couple things going against a decent accumulation, and that is above freezing temperatures and above freezing ground temperatures. There's going to be quite a bit of melting. The cold is going to impact us all. Wind chills in the teens and 20s. The winds at around 10 to 20 miles per hour. Highs today only in about the mid 30s. It'll stay mostly cloudy. But as we take another live look outside, you can see some pretty decent snowflakes coming down against the background there of Ashland Park there along the waterfront and the Falls of the Ohio. That's the Falls of the Ohio Foundation Cam, fallsoftheohio.org. And we could take a live look here as well outside of the Extol Media Studios. The roads, again, looking just fine there at Vincennes and Market. And so things starting off just on a cold note. A lot of us not used to this. Our skin is not quite thick this time of the year. We haven't made it through very many cold spells so far. So here's a look at the radar. And right now, the best batch of steady snow has been moving from Vincennes to Evansville, if you see there. And then as we zoom in a little bit closer, we're just seeing some flurries in spots. That's that white area that you see there. So that's not clouds. That's the actual radar showing some of these flurries. But still a batch to the north that's going to drop down from central Indiana and then move in through this early afternoon. I would say by around 2, 3 o'clock, southern Indiana will start to see the snow dissipate and then move into Kentucky, that drying line. So it'll linger a little bit longer over parts of Kentucky overall. So that's kind of the situation for today. Very minimal accumulations expected across the area and not a huge impact. And that's good. We kind of ease into these first snow systems without any major impact. Just helps us get used to it, kind of easing us into the winter season, so to speak. So it is November the 10th on a Monday. Good Monday morning, guys. Thanks for joining us here on the show, whether you're watching on my page, Meteorologist Ben Peine, Extol Weather on Facebook, Extol Media on YouTube, or extolmag.com/weather on the good old World Wide Web. So let me bring up also another live look outside. We got your weather models. We've got your weather jokes. We've got all the weather history, all that we have on a typical show, but we're definitely snow themed here this morning, looking across the region. Look at that. So my daughter, Hannah, was walking back from an early class in Bloomington, and that's what it looked like. They've got a little bit of a dusting on the ground there. So typically, if it's coming from the north, they're going to get it first here, a few counties north of our area. So there you can see a little bit of that, those festive flakes there. So if you're wanting to get into that Thanksgiving, Christmas, festive mood, there you go. There's a live look at the Brown County in camera hotel, restaurant, and bar up in the beautiful Brown County Park area. So there you can see some steady snow, enough to accumulate on the grass. We call that accumulation on elevated surfaces. And, the ground is still above freezing, so you can see it melting on the walking path right there. But beautiful scene. Again, we'll look at the weather model data hour by hour as this will, again, kind of dissipate and taper off through the afternoon. We'll look ahead to some cold temperatures, but we'll also look ahead. We live in the crazy Ohio Valley. We're going to be talking 70-degree temperatures once again coming up in the 7-day forecast. So always a wild place to be here in the Ohio Valley. Got some comments popping in. Good morning from Borden, Indiana. Beverly Haggis with 21 degrees and some snow this morning. Very cold. Good morning, Perry Porter with the coffee. Your beard looks nice. I might grow one as well. I might end up, you never know, I might end up keeping this thing if I keep getting compliments like that, Perry. Good morning and a cheers to your coffee here from Big Happy. Hope you guys are off to a good Monday. It's been a good Monday. And thanks for watching Extol Unfiltered, by the way, Perry. Orlean Whitlow down in Hodgenville in LaRue County, Kentucky, 26 degrees. Snowing occasionally. It's now 28 degrees. And it's cold, not any on the road and very little in the yard. Yep, I would agree with that right there. Thank you for that report. And we got Christian Walker up in the Indianapolis metropolitan area with the countdown that we do every day with 45 days until Christmas, 52 days until New Year's. And Christian says, got some snow right now there, and we are getting it as well. So most of Indiana getting in on some of the snow. Man, they've had some significant lake effect snows. I want to encourage you to follow meteorologist Matt Rudkin if you're ever interested in what's going on up around South Bend, northern Indiana. He's got a big following up there, and he's got some great weather information if you're ever interested in the weather up that direction. But they've got some big lake effect snows happening up that way. Teresa Logston, thanks for watching here this morning, and thanks for dropping in the comments. Let us know, again, if you have a weather question, you want to see some different weather maps that you're not seeing, feel free to drop in the comments, questions, comments, concerns, or just a good morning, and letting us know where you're watching from. We love it when you drop in the comments, letting this be your show here in Southern Indiana and beyond. And also, before we really get going, I want to give a shout out. Well, one more thing before we really get going here. And this is, boom, right there, extolweather.com/weather, extolmag.com/weather, extolmag.com/weather. We've got our live show up right now. We've got a brand new radar right here. It's an interactive map, and it is amazing, by the way. You can click on all of these different layers, and the cloud layer is pretty awesome. And it'll show you what type of, I mean, look at this. Look at that right there. It's got temperatures. I mean, if it's got everything. It's got CAPE, wind gusts. You can see the direction of the winds coming here. The flows. I'm in the top right side that you can see there. And there's 39 more layers. You got precipitation type. Incredible amount of information right there with that interactive map. We've got your current weather conditions right here, your daily weather forecast. So that takes you through all the way next Monday, the 17th. We've got your hourly forecast to take you through the rest of the day. I've got the brand new 7-day forecast. I've got the weather story updated here this morning with our winter weather advisory. You can cruise on down. You've got some more maps. You can take a look at severe weather watches, drought monitor, regional radar with any warnings or watches, current Indiana weather and traffic. Got you linked up here to 511in.org. And some of these are actually weather stations. And what's important about that is you can see the surface temperatures. We talked about this when we started this show. Finally, we get to cover some live winter weather here, even though this is a minimal impact. But take a look here at these temperature stations. They're not only air temperature, the ground temperature. That's so important this time of the year. So what we're seeing here is the air temperature at 29. This is in Jeffersonville at I-265. And look at the surface ground temperature at 40 degrees. So that means there's going to be melting on contact. So that's why these weather stations here and there are so very important. There's one here at the Corden exit as well that has a weather station and a camera. Let me back out of that one there. I think I clicked on the camera instead of the weather station. Let me zoom in a little bit closer. There we go. So this weather station shows the surface temperature. I believe that is down to 32 degrees because it's on an elevated surface. It's on one of the ramps there. There in Corden, but the air temperature 27 degrees, but even 32, not so bad. So you can see that you not only have the cameras that you look at, but also look for the thermometer and the little snow icon. There's one up here in Scottsburg, Indiana. That will give you the weather observation station. That one doesn't have the surface temperature reported there, but 28 degrees. Looking around for some more of those. Oh, here's one. I didn't know there was one here just west of Seymour. So it's got the ground temperature, the pavement temperature at 36 degrees. So that's something we watch for very closely this time of the year when you have a winter weather advisory. You're not only looking at the air temperature, you want to know what the pavement temperature is and how much is going to melt on contact. Occasionally, you can get a snow burst, snow squall. briefly more intense snowfall rates, reduces visibility, and that can overcome the warmer ground temperature and give you some slick spots briefly, and then they melt off again. But there you go. That is a look at some great information there. That is 511in.org. So this is up around Seymour. You can see on that house right there that there's a little bit of accumulation on the rooftop and maybe just a little bit on the edges of the pavement, seeing a little bit of that snow right there. So very cool stuff. All linked up again at extolmag.com/weather. I want to give a shout out to our partners before we dig into the forecast. Lions Roofing, this time of the year especially, you can have heavy rain events, you can have snow, you can have leaks, whatever. If you have any questions about your roof, give them a shout here. LYONS, lionsroofingco.com. You got free estimates here online. You can learn about their company, and they got you covered on both sides of the river throughout Indiana and Kentucky. 812-294-3595 is contact them. They've got a career section here, too. If you know somebody that wants an opportunity, a roofing repair technician job opening right there. Level up your career and your opportunities with Ivy Tech Community College. And we're talking about the Sellersburg location. That is just 9 miles north of downtown Louisville, exit 9 at I-65. You can get that one-on-one help with Tuesdays at the Tech. You can register here online for that and customize your visit and talk with a faculty member about career coaching, veterans benefits, financial aid, and all of that good stuff right there at Ivy Tech. I want to give a shout out to my buddy Michael Long as well. If you want to get a quote on your car insurance, they've had price reductions, but any insurance, car, home, whatever, they could cover all kinds of different stuff. But amfam.com, search Michael Long. His number to call, 812-578-3072. Tell him that I sent you. And before we wrap this up, I also want to mention that you can join us whenever you'd like, and it's easy to team up. Ben at extolmag.com, Jason at extolmag.com for any advertising, marketing solutions with Extol Weather, Extol Media. If you want to find out more, happy to talk to you and meet up with you as well. And I want to give a shout out to NWSB. They have a food drive now through December 15th. There is a need out there. We talked a lot about it on Extol Unfiltered with Angie Fenton. If you want to watch that replay, you'll learn more about that. But you can go to any location. You do not have to be a member. You can drop it off. This is for Reach food program for kids here in Southern Indiana. Looking for canned food, non-perishable items, snacks, dry cereals with that. All right, we are moving right along here. We've got some more comments popping in, but that is your winter weather advisory for Southern Indiana and into Kentucky as well until 7 p.m. We're talking 1 inch or less snowfall totals across the area. So not a huge impact, but getting some of those friendly first flakes out there. We've got a good morning here from Teresa Logston. Thanks for watching here this morning. Christian is staying warm by the fireplace. We've got a good warm fire with the buck stove going in our house as well. And we are not ready for Christmas yet. We got to pump the brakes a little bit here, Christian. We got to get through Thanksgiving first, but Christian is ready. We got a good morning from Lillian Lasley. When I got up this morning, it was 28, now 32 degrees at Lillian's house. Thank you very much for that report right there. So this is what I got a couple photos sent to me. Also, if you have a nice, pretty scene that you want to share, you can also go to Indiana Skies on Facebook and post a picture there to that group. But Kendra Vowles, thanks for this picture from Flaherty, Kentucky. And I've got a spot on my Facebook page too where you can post any snow photos. It's pinned on my Facebook page, but there you can see a little bit of a dusting on the car there. And from David Harkins on the right side in Brandenburg, they had a light coating last night. So they had Meade counties, speaking of Meade County and Breckinridge County, both out of school today, and then Perry County as well in Indiana. That's all the school closings I've seen so far. So the weather headlines, we've got the snow showers today. With very light accumulations, mainly on elevated surfaces. Some wicked wind chills out there in the teens and 20s is what it's going to feel like. A chilly Veterans Day tomorrow. Thank you to our veterans, by the way. We'll be in the 20s tomorrow morning. Another hard freeze out there, getting rid of a lot of the bugs and the bees and getting rid of the pollen. And tomorrow afternoon will be in the lower 40s. There's a small chance for a couple flurries, mainly off to the north in central Indiana tomorrow. But most areas are going to be dry. It will be mostly dry for the rest of this week. We've got milder weather moving back in Wednesday, and we're going to make a run for 70 degrees by the end of this week. So this is going to be a short-lived cold snap here for us. Not much playing ball out in weather like this, but here's your forecast for later this afternoon into the evening time. We'll go 37 for the high temperature. It'll feel colder with that northwest wind at around 10 to 20, and 34 at 6 p.m., and then back down to below freezing shortly after sunset. So how many days until? The countdown continues. Thanksgiving in about 17 days. The earliest sunsets, which are at around 5:22 p.m. in 22 days. And then our sunsets will gradually get later and later towards Christmas time, which is 45 days away. In spring, we're popping on spring in 129 days. We've got Lillian Lasley with a report here of some snow out there in Grayson County. And we'll pop in occasionally as well the radar as we continue to track the snow across the area. You can go ahead and bring this up full screen there. We'll pop the radar on and off throughout the program. But right now, you can see there are some breaks in between the snow. So Lillian had some snow here in Grayson County. I see a little bit of that showing up on the radar. The steadiest snow that I've seen is out just north of Evansville. Good burst of snow there. And then we've got some more up in heading towards Indianapolis right now. So yeah, we'll get some breaks, get some occasional snow showers. And I would say for most areas, it's probably just going to be a dusting. It's not going to be a huge deal here for us. Just easing us in again to the snow season. And there you can see that snow coming down in Brown County, Indiana, with that dusting of snow on the ground there. So we'll check in and out of the radar and the current conditions here as we move through the forecast. But heading back over the forecast, our weather history for today, right before your weather jokes. 1819 in Montreal, at midday, the sky turned from a greenish tint to an inky black. Then sooty rain fell. Frightened citizens made their way to the Notre Dame Church, or Notre Dame, when suddenly a lightning bolt struck the church's spire and it crashed to the ground. The next day was bright and clear. That's crazy. 1915, Great Bend, Kansas was struck by an EF4 that swept away farms and took 11 lives. It's just a reminder you get severe weather any time of the year. About 1,000 sheep were killed in local ranches. Debris from the town was carried 85 miles. Hundreds of dead ducks plummeted from the sky 25 miles beyond the end of the tornado's path. 1975, the Edmund Fitzgerald sank northeast of Whitefish Point on Lake Superior, killing 29 crew members. The surface pressure dropped to 29 inches of mercury, producing sustained winds of 60 miles per hour and wave heights over 20 feet. In 2012, the town of Mossy Grove, Tennessee, was wiped off the map by a destructive tornado that killed 7 people. In 2020, Louisville sets a record high of 80 degrees for today's date. Our stupid jokes of the day, cold related. We've got Joe Banks tuning in just in time for those stupid weather jokes. And your forecast is right after this. What bites but doesn't have teeth? Frostbite. Who's Old Man Winter's favorite ant? Antarctica. What is the weatherman's favorite food in the winters? Burritos. That actually sounds pretty good. What did the tree say after a long, cold winter? What a relief. There's your punny jokes today. All right, today's forecast. We got the snow showers out there. We got the winter weather advisory. Our high temperature at 37. Some light accumulations, mostly light coating and dusting on elevated surfaces that we might pick up a few slick spots on the roads to watch out for through this afternoon. Tonight's low, 24 degrees with a clearing sky. Frigid tonight, a west wind at 5 to 10. That'll keep some of the wind chills in the teens. Beverly Hagen's got my back on the jokes. I appreciate it. We'll try to keep them coming. Sun up at 7:20. So definitely bundling up the kiddos out of the bus stop tomorrow morning. And your forecast here for your Tuesday, November the 11th, 24 degrees starting off. There might be a few stray flurries. I would say mainly up in central Indiana. Seymour, North Vernon, you might get clipped by a little bit of that, but not a big deal. 38 at noon, 44 for our Veterans Day afternoon. That is still about 15 degrees below normal, as our normal high is 59 degrees this time of the year. Our normal low 41. Sun up again 7:20 and our sunset at 5:33. And the brand new 7-day forecast. Now, Lillian Lasley's got my back as well. Awesome, Ben Peine. A few weeks ago, Ben, you had a joke on there about 90 degrees corner keeping warm while I'm hunting for it at my house and I haven't found it. Yeah, if you ever get cold in your house, just stand in the corner. It's always 90 degrees. All right. That's probably not good advice. All right. 37 degrees for tomorrow night, up to 58 Wednesday. So hovering near 60 degrees Wednesday and Thursday, and then 66 on Friday. It looks like there is kind of a warm front in the region that might give us a stray shower on Friday, but not a big deal there. Saturday looks quiet, up to 70 degrees, the forecast now for Saturday. We're still on the warm side of things on Sunday. It looks like a front will try to move through maybe late Sunday. We'll fine tune that as we go day by day, but that might make it a little bit cooler as we go into next Monday. That would be what, the 17th. I mean, we are just cruising through the month of November here. Dennis Gregory with a B-triple-R Burr. Good morning from Bedford. 7 a.m. walk was not fun. My daughter was calling me just north of you up in Bloomington on her walk home from class, but she was bundled up very good and saw some of that light snow on the ground up there in Bloomington. Not far from Bloomington, again, is the Brown County Inn, and they're showing off their snow on the ground live this morning. So our first light accumulation of the 2025 autumn season is what we're looking at, and for snow lovers, celebrating there as the snowflakes continue to come down there. We're looking at all the different live cams. Still seeing the snowflakes here. Ashland Park area, looking toward downtown Louisville and the falls of the Ohio. So there you can see a little bit reduced visibility with the snowflakes coming down. And of course, we can look live here. Everything looks gray. We're getting a steadier snow shower here. It's enough to dampen the road right outside of our window here at the Extol Media Studios in Uptown New Albany. And again, a winter weather advisory goes until 7 p.m. I think it'll likely get canceled early. And also another thing that I wanted to show you is that there are a bunch of resources here at extolmag.com/weather. Whenever we get these alerts, you can go to the very bottom. We've got 2 interactive radars on here right now. So this one is showing that snow that we have across the area, but you can also turn on the alerts. And this is going to show you that there is a very large winter weather advisory that extends all the way down to Tennessee, through most of Kentucky, most of the Hoosier State, and then up north, this is where you get the lake effect snow. And they've got winter storm warnings up there where they're talking about 5 to 11 inches of snow, wind gusts as high as 30 miles per hour. So again, my buddy Matt Rutkin, a meteorologist up there in South Bend, is having fun with that. Give him a follow. And then the rest of us have this winter weather advisory. And then look at this cold weather that stretches all the way down to the deep south. Check out these alerts that they have all the way through Georgia and South Carolina and Alabama and Mississippi. They've got freeze warnings all the way down there and all the way to South Florida, a cold weather advisory for our poor friends in Florida. They're even getting alerted down there, and they've got some breezy conditions. So look at that chill stretching over the eastern United States. Very interesting. They've got the alerts everywhere. So also, I've been bringing up the snow radar here, but I also want to bring up the just the current temperatures, because that's a big part of the story as well. Oops, I don't want to bring up the wind gusts. I want to bring up the current temps. So here, this should pop on here shortly. While I wait for the data here, I'm going to get a drink here from Big Happy. So there's the temperatures. It's the coldest. Let's go full screen here. Up in the northern plains, the northern Midwest, in the teens and 20s. This cold air, as we talked about last week, dropping all the way down from Canada. And so we got this north flow, and you can see the chilly weather that stretches all the way down to the Gulf Coast and the East Coast. And as we zoom in a little bit closer here, we can look at some of the temperature observation stations with the light snow coming down. 28 degrees in Louisville, 27 up around Bloomington and Seymour. So you've got upper 20s, low 30s, basically throughout the entire area here. A little early, I don't know. I guess it's not winter yet. Late fall, cold snap, I guess is what we have here. Got some more comments popping in. Let me get to them. We've got Kathy Burnett. A good, snowy, cold morning. Yes, indeed. And Orlean Whitlow getting some flurries again in Hodgenville. Mary Dale popping in the comments this morning. It's spitting snow all morning here in New Albany, but nothing on the ground. Thanks for the updates. Happy to help you out with the updates. Ben, the sun trying to shine in my house. Yeah, we might get some little peaks of sun every once in a while between some of these snow showers on occasion. Let me go ahead and bring up the weather model data here as we're at 10:26. A little late with the weather model data, but it's more interesting to look at the friendly flakes out there. I'm going to turn this into the precipitation type mode. So it's going to go from green and then show us some of the snow. So this shows us the snow showers. And I'm going to take this to midday today with the NAM 3 kilometer. And this data takes just a second more to load because it's doing the precip type. But here's noon today, still showing the snow showers across the area. I'm going to kick this ahead to around 2 p.m. And we'll likely see that last snow line dropping down to the Ohio River. There you can see some light snow continuing into the afternoon. A little heavier bouts of snow likely towards the bluegrass region of Kentucky and Lexington. I'm going to go to 4 o'clock today. I would say by mid-afternoon, we're going to see a lot of the snowflakes tapering off. And it might be a long time before we see many more snowflakes, although there could be a couple flurries and spots just off to our north tomorrow afternoon. So things will be tapering off. I'm going to jump ahead to tomorrow. So we'll be clearing out the sky tonight with those lows in the 20s. Very chilly tonight. I'm going to go to tomorrow morning and then tomorrow afternoon here at noon. Yeah, this guy takes just a second longer to. That doesn't look precip typed to me. I don't like the way that looks. I'm going to switch this to. All right, so this is showing maybe a sprinkle, maybe a flurry around midday tomorrow. Slight chance of that. Not a big deal. That'll bring in some extra clouds passing through for our Veterans afternoon. There you can see that. Just that little batch of some precip there. You got a little energy crossing through the area. This is looking at the map tomorrow around midday. So there might be just a very light wintry mix in a few spots around that time tomorrow. Again, not a big deal. Let me go back to the feels like temperatures because it is going to be cold to start off our Veterans Day. And to bring that up, I'm going to bring this up right here. Actually, now I'm messing around with the weather models here. All right, so here's the temperature map. Let me back this up to 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. And that pink is no good. That shows some lower 20s in many locations. Good to get a good hard freeze. I would remind you, winterize perhaps if you haven't already. Maybe unhook that hose. It doesn't burst your connection there. But there's the lower 20s. That's the actual air temperature, not the wind chill factored in. We got the wind chill factored in with this. So this is going into tomorrow morning with still a little bit of a breeze out there. Boom, there you go. That is not cozy. That is teen wind chills for you. Yikes. So again, this is a 2.5 day cold spell. I guess yesterday was cold, today's colder, and tomorrow's cold. 3-day cold spell, and then we're going to break back out of that. Brian, you are 100% correct there. It is cold. And Christian, the snow will taper off this afternoon, probably sooner for you. You might get a few flurries tomorrow. And I'm going to back this up to today, to this afternoon's wind chills. And there you can see it's going to be feeling like the 20s this afternoon. So just staying bundled up. You might want to check your furnace filters, make sure they are clear so the HVAC systems are working very well. There's the cold spell there. Now we're going to start to look down the road here, and then we'll get actually Chris Marlin, to quote a famous princess, "The cold never bothered me anyway." Yes, indeed. That I'm blanking. I'm blanking on the princess. Chris knows it. Oh my gosh. I that song wore me out back in the day. It was on all the time. All right, so let's get another look outside here for you. I'm going to pop in and out of the current conditions every now and again. Anna and Elsa. Here we go. We're looking at some decent snow coming down as the visibilities are dropping a little bit. Some steadier snow here, right out with the waterfront, New Albany and Clarksville, and checking just north where they've already seen the snow come in first in Brown County. They've got the steady snow continuing there, just to the east of Bloomington. And of course, we've been checking the radar here and there as well. We've got the interactive radar here. As I turn off the alerts, plot the temperatures on, you can see our little batch of snow across the area. You can hit play on that. And we've got two different interactive radars right now, interactive maps on extolmag.com/weather. And we're paying the price for it, so it's free for you. But there you go. Then there's this one right here. And there are a ton of different things you can plop on the clouds. It's got temperatures, wind gusts. You can see the wind flow. And then I'm going to go down here to, there's 39 different layers. There's precip type. This is the weather radar view. And you can also take it into the future as well. So this is a loop of the radar. You see it kind of moving slowly there. And then if you go down, I think it's at the bottom here, you've got any of the weather alerts across the region. I'll take that off. And there is a future radar on here. There's so many different layers. I'm just trying to find it here. There's snow depth, icing severity, clear air turbulence, wind accumulation, wind gusts, clouds, temperature, rain, thunder. I think it's this layer. So it shows you the precip type that's around the area. And then this looks ahead to where that precipitation is going to go using various weather models right there. So a lot of cool stuff right there. And again, we're in the process of app development, but you can get these tools at extolmag.com/weather. Christian, no, we got a warm up on the way this weekend, and we'll take a look at that here as we fire up the long range weather model data. So you've got radar and weather model data right here, and just a ton of different variables again that you can check out there at extolmag.com/weather. All right, let's get back to it. We just did the current conditions. We've looked over the cold weather. And now it's time to go out on a limb, and this guy better put on some pants. Been on a limb, going out on a limb to look at the long-range forecast here. So what I want to do is bring up the GFS weather model. We'll just go ahead and bring up the reflectivity. We're going to jump ahead to Friday, the 14th, because this might be just a slight chance of a little shower, not a big deal, it looks like. Here's like 10 a.m. See a little sprinkle. I put a 20% chance for that Friday. And I think that's actually an association with a warm front, because when we bring up these temperatures, you're going to like the way it looks on you. Look at that warm up that we have. And again, that is like the definition, the epitome of Ohio Valley weather, ups and downs. Look at this warm air. So the cold air, it is going to retreat here off to the northeast by Wednesday, and we'll be back to normal temperatures near 60 degrees Wednesday, Thursday. And then we're talking above normal temperature as this warm bubble of air begins to slide our way. And there's a reason for this, of course. And we like to sometimes just go up top and look at the jet stream pattern. The trough right here that has opened the door to this cold spell is going to move off to the northeast. And notice this little ridge out west, this little hump in the jet stream. That's where you get the warmer conditions. So I'm going to go back to the temperature map here. I think you're going to like, unless you're just a cold weather lover, I think you're going to like this weekend because we're going to continue to slide in these warmer conditions here from the west. So now we're on the warm side, it looks like. Looks like kind of a contrast in temperatures across the area. Like you see 60s near 70 degrees. And just to the north, you got some colder conditions. So there might be, our area might be kind of sliced in half there with some cool on one side and warm on the other here within our area. Going into Sunday, Sunday the 16th, it's looking mild across the area in the 60s. All right, and then I'm going to go back to the radar view, future radar. And it's got a rain chance on Sunday. I would say especially Sunday night is kind of when the Euro is saying it. GFS showing this as well. This is around 10 p.m. So it looks like a little front moves through. And then we're back on the cooler side perhaps next Monday. I'll go to the highs next Monday as that front moves through the area. And then that puts us maybe 40s, 50s this time next week. So it is up and down weather pattern, which is not surprising this time of the year. But what I don't see perhaps for the rest of this month is this. So this is what we have around our area now, this just polar plunge. That gets locked back up to the north later this week. And if we go to the long range, we're going to go to like we'll just make some stops here. There's the 20th. That pink is what we're watching stay north. Now, we might get some cool spells, but not like this polar air that we have dropping in over us now. So I'm going into the 21st. Doesn't look bad there. Going into the 22nd. The really cold stuff staying north. Going into the 23rd. Same deal. Again, you can see it locked up over Canada. Looking for the pink. And to the 25th, 24th, I should say, not a big deal. So what I'm saying is I'm not seeing any extremes like we're having now, perhaps for the rest of the month. Kind of mix between some cool spells, some mild spells, but it looks like we should keep all of this severe cold bottled up to the north for a while. But there is a chance it could get unleashed in December. We will see. We will see. Okay, so that is the long range outlook. I am going to bring up the rad sat again as we look at some of the current conditions across the area. And we're looking at the snow flurries. Still have a few flakes out. I'm just looking out the window here. We'll go back to the full screen mode. So you can see the batches of flurries and light snow that we have across the area. Evansville getting in on a better batch of snow right now out to the west. And the snow a little bit steadier as well, just off to the southwest of Louisville. Looks like it's coming down pretty decent around Corden and southern Harrison County, around Radcliffe. Oh, that's not bad there. Anybody from Radcliffe watching? Some good, or Elizabethtown. Those are some good little bursts of snow there. And this is associated with an upper level low pressure system. If you look very closely, there's a little bit of a kind of a swirl right here. That is the upper level low pressure system dropping in from the Great Lakes, which is giving us the lift for these snow showers. Another decent batch of the snow around Indianapolis. And it'll probably take until early mid-afternoon before that passes through our area. So enjoy the festive little flakes that we have across the area here at 10:40. We'll do a forecast recap. And we'll wrap it up here for a Monday. Let me move this ahead here. Got a few comments popping in since we've been talking. Bertha Turner with a good morning and a burr, a B triple R. We've got way more than a B triple R right here from Christian Walker. And Christian, really surprised that Florida is getting cold too. But yeah, it is for sure. This has been a polar plunge all the way down to the deep southeast. I'm liking that long range forecast. You are welcome. I always like to take a look at the longer range data. Steve Gibbons, pretty good batch of snow falling in Brandenburg right now. Yeah, I see that as well. Dropping in over you guys. You'll have that for a little while. Lillian Lasley, you have a great day too. Thanks for coming in and watching the show this morning. There's your winter weather advisory. That continues until 7 p.m. Will likely be canceled early. And then speaking of Brandenburg, that was the roads last night. And I want to thank Kendra Vowles for sharing this, and then also David Harkins from Brandenburg. They're in Meade and Breckenridge counties. Look at that little dusting we had last night. If you ever want to share some photos, we've got Indiana Skies group on Facebook, and then we've got you can email me, ben@extolmag.com, or you can post them on my Facebook page. I've got if you see a little dusting or just want to share some snow photos, I've got it pinned on my Facebook page, Meteorologist Ben Peine, where you can drop in some of those. And so snow showers today on your weather headlines. Wicked wind chills out there. Wind chills in the teens and 20s. A chilly Veterans Day tomorrow. There might be a little bit of a flurry or a wintry mix midday for a few spots, but no big deal with that. And then milder air back to normal Wednesday with upper 50s to around 60 degrees and making a run for 70 by this weekend. Not much playing ball out in this weather, but we've got 30s out there with some occasional snow showers. Northwest winds around 10 to 20. Mainly just a dusting in some spots. Might be a few slick spots on the roads to watch out for if we get a few bursts of some steadier snowfall rates. Thanksgiving with the countdown in 17 days. The earliest sunsets of the year happen in 22 days around December 2nd. Christmas in 45 days, and springtime 129 days. Today's weather history, I'll post this right around noon today, or you can watch the replay. We talked about this earlier, but a couple interesting things. 1975 was when the Edmund Fitzgerald sank in Lake Superior. Louisville had a record high of 80 5 years ago. Our weather jokes: what bites but doesn't have teeth? Frostbite. Who's Old Man Winter's favorite ant? Antarctica. What is the weatherman's favorite food in the winter? Burrito. What did the tree say after a long, cold winter? What a relief. Relief. Today's high, 37 degrees, occasional snow showers, light accumulations on elevated surfaces mainly, sunset at 5:34. And tonight, clearing and cold, a low of 24 degrees. Make that furnace happy. Make sure the filters are clear. Have a new filter in there. I need to remind myself to do that. And your Veterans Day tomorrow. Thank you, veterans. 24 out the door, 38 at noon. A cold day, still a little bit breezy, 44 for that afternoon high temperature. South winds tomorrow at around 10 to 20. So it'll feel like the 30s in the afternoon. And our normal high is 59. So we're about 15 degrees below normal for tomorrow. 7-day forecast here for you. 58 Wednesday, 60 Thursday, 66 Friday. Let's keep the warm up going. Around 70 by Saturday. Might get some rain Sunday, perhaps late Sunday, and then maybe a bit cooler by Monday. But this brief cold spell, again, not going to last too long for us, as we're back to almost spring-like conditions this weekend. And before we take off, a reminder, if you want to join up for any of your advertising marketing solutions, Extol Weather or Extol Media advertising solutions, you can contact me. Love to have a phone call with you, or we can meet up. Ben at extolmag.com or Jason at extolmag.com to learn more about that. And again, we'll look at one last look. Let me get rid of that and bring this guy back up right here. Looking at some of the snow showers cruising through. Steve was talking about that snow moving into Meade and Breckenridge counties. And there you can see that coming down a bit steadier there. Kind of got a break over much of southern Indiana before that next batch will drop back in. Get out of that full screen mode right there. And again, I want to thank our partner. Oh, one last look here, the Brown County Inn live cam. A little bit of a dusting there, and the snow still coming down pretty good with some lower visibility right on the waterfront here at the Falls of the Ohio with the Falls of the Ohio Foundation.org camera. I want to thank our partners as always here at Lions Roofing. Make sure you are protected, no leaks, no messed up shingles. You can get an estimate at lionsroofingco.com. That is LYONS, protecting your most valuable asset for a lifetime. And give them a call. Either side of the river, they got you covered throughout Louisville Metro, 812-294-3595. They've got a job opening, a roofing repair technician. If you want to check that out, you can apply there online. You can also level up your career. You can get those dual credits in high school. They're going to meet you where you're at, whether you're in high school, college, or if you're mid-career, maybe you're my age, midlife, and you want to change your career. You can schedule a visit here at their campus, exit 9 off I-65, 9 miles north of Louisville. This is their main page right here. They've got dozens of 2-year certifications, which is going to be very important in our economy to come, empowering the workforce here in Southern Indiana and beyond. Ginger's talking about it as well. Hi, Gingy. And so there you go, Ivy Tech. There's your Ivy experience. And learn more at ivytech.edu and then click on the locations. And a shout out to my friend Michael Long here and my insurance agent. If you want to maybe get a quote, maybe see if there's some price reduction, some tools to save as well. They've got an app that can help you save. They've got student discounts and other ways. Give Michael Long a call with AmFam, American Family Insurance, amfam.com, and search Michael Long. It'll take you to this page where you can email him or give him a call, 812-578-3072. Proud to be an American Star Certified Agency. Excellence in customer experience. And again, I want to remind you, there are a bunch of tools right here at your fingertips. There's my live show up right now, Ben at 10. We've got live radars with dozens of layers that you can look at. You have your current weather, 29 degrees, winter weather advisory. It's got your alerts right there. It's got your daily forecast that'll take you all the way to next Monday with the conditions, weather conditions, temperature, precipitation, wind, humidity, your hourly forecast to take you through the day, your 7-day forecast that I posted, the weather story with some more details. We're talking a lot here. I got you linked up to Indiana 511. It's very important to look at these temperature stations this time of the year. You can see the air temperature here at 265 and I-65, 29 air temperature, but the ground temperature, the pavement temperature at 43 degrees. So melting on contact. So the roads are in pretty good shape. Of course, there's dozens of cameras that you can check out as well. But they've got a lot of different weather stations here connected to some of the cameras. 36-degree ground pavement temperature at this camera right here, just to the west of Seymour along U.S. Highway 50. Again, lots of ways to be your own meteorologist, and we got you all linked up there at extolmag.com/weather. Again, this interactive radar, it's got alerts, it's got winds, it's got all you need. And the alerts were very interesting because we got the winter weather advisory all over the Ohio Valley, winter storm warnings up in northern Indiana with the lake effect snow. Then they've got freeze warnings all the way down through Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. And then they've got cold weather alerts all the way down to Naples, Florida, almost to Fort Lauderdale and Miami Beach. Cold weather advisory. Very cold wind chills, as low as 31 down there in South Florida. Very interesting. Very just a fun little cold snap for today to track across the area. And here's our last live look outside at Uptown New Albany here at the low clouds and a little bit of those flurries flying out there. So once again, thank you for joining us here this morning. Thanks for taking a look at my weather content throughout the day on my page, Meteorologist Ben Peine. That is Peine. And also thank you for checking out Extol Weather on Facebook. We've got different videos that I post there, sometimes some reels and different updates. And the same goes for our live show and different videos that are on Extol Media on YouTube. Thanks for liking, subscribing on any one of those pages and getting that word out. So kind of fun to tune up our winter weather forecasting here. It's nice to get these little ones out of the way before the bigger ones come later in the season and next season, the winter season. All right, that'll wrap it up here on a Monday. Thank you, Lillian Lasley, for the backyard weather reports and the temperatures there. Orlean Whitlow with a good burst of snow in Hodgenville. And we do, Christian, have a Wednesdays with Weddington coming up this Wednesday. So if you have any questions about anything around the home, let us know. Oh, that's very nice. Christian Walker's grandpa has a place in Naples. Beautiful down there. All right, that will do it. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the show. Stay warm out there. Just a great time to be inside, cozied up with a blanket or something like that, and staying chilly through our Veterans Day tomorrow as well. All right, we'll talk more about the warm-up on the way. And as always, we'll look at the long-range forecast tomorrow. We'll look at the current conditions, and we'll bundle up heading back into work tomorrow morning, too, with those wind chills in the teens and temperatures in the 20s. Again, stay warm, be safe out there. We'll see you later.